Hey everyone, welcome back to Keto and Crime. Today I've got a reaction to the verdict of Lori Vallow, just my reaction to the reading and how she looks, and I just think it's a nice way to cap off this entire saga to know that we are finally getting some justice for Tammy, for JJ, for 𝗙𝗫𝗏, and in some small way Charles, even though those charges are still pending. So just going to do a really quick reaction. Join me on Friday evening when I will be doing a live stream discussing the entire case. That will be at around 4 p.m. Central Time, 5 Eastern. So we'll be on the lookout for that. It should be under my lives now. So set yourself a reminder, and let's dive into this, shall we? So as you can see, we have prosecutor's view, judge's view, and here is the clerk reading the verdict from the jury. I've got my my picture over the judge, and of course here is Lori, the devil's table. Let's dive in.
State of Idaho, and for the County of Fremont, State of Idaho plaintiff versus Lori Vallow, aka Lori Daybell, defendant, case number CR22211624. Verdict. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn to try the above entitled action for our verdict, unanimously answer the questions submitted to us as follows. Question number 1. In regards to count 1 of the amended indictment, is Lori Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of 𝗙𝗏𝗏 and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty. Question.
Okay, so that is conspiracy to murder 𝗙𝗏 as well as theft of her and conspiracy to thieve her Social Security benefits. We do know that in this case, the vast majority of it would have been considered circumstantial, except for the one hair that was found on the duct tape that was, on JJ. So that was the actual physical evidence that put her at the site of JJ's body, which would be actual evidence, physical evidence. Everything else was digital footprint. Digital footprint played a huge role in this, which lets you know that in today's time, she might have gotten away with this in the 80s or 90s, 70s, 80s, or 90s, possibly even in the early 2000s. But now, with as much of a digital footprint as we leave in the Western world, it is almost impossible to get away with something like this, even with burner phones, which now have to be attributed to an email address, which they tracked. So there you go. A lot of this would have been circumstantial at some point, but it was enough to convince this jury beyond a reasonable doubt that she did it.
Question number 2. In regards to count 2 of the amended indictment, is Lori Vallow not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of 𝗙𝗏𝗏? Answer, guilty.
So they are finding her guilty of participating in the murder of 𝗙𝗏 by virtue of not just planning it, but the fact that that single hair on JJ leads them to believe that she was probably present or knew about it and didn't stop it, which takes it way beyond conspiracy. Conspiracy is planning, orchestrating, and then letting it happen. But the fact that there was physical evidence found on JJ would place her at the scene of that crime, and most likely of that crime, of this crime as well. And the fact that it was obvious she knew it was going down and didn't stop it makes her just as guilty as whomever most likely asphyxiated 𝗙𝗏, which I'm guessing it was probably Chad and Alex.
Question number 3. In regards to count 3 of the amended indictment, is Lori Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty.
And again, conspiracy and thieving of his Social Security benefits, which was proved by a lot of digital evidence and a lot of the bank accounts that were moved around. And yeah, she planned it, she did it, and she did not stop it.
Question number 4. In regards to count 4, the amended indictment, is Lori Vallow not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow? Answer, guilty.
Guilty, and that is the one they've got her hands down not only on planning it, conspiracy, not stopping it, but physical evidence of her hair being on the duct tape. She was there. She saw his body. You cannot convince me that she didn't. She may have even done it, because we know JJ was special needs, and we know that he struggled, but maybe she was helping to try to calm him down. There's all sorts of morbid thoughts that could go into that, but I would almost believe that if she didn't physically hold him down, she was there looking on while it happened, and we know that because there was physical evidence on the tape. And I don't want to hear about it could have been from the apartment, because I don't think he was, you just can't. With everything else, if there was no circumstantial evidence that proved this vast conspiracy, that is GPS movements, texts, emails, all the shenanigans, okay, I might buy that it could have potentially come from the apartment, but anyway.
In regards to count 5 of the amended indictment, is Lori Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell? Answer, guilty.
Okay, this is the one that I was so afeared that would be not guilty, just because there was a lot, even though she was talking to Chad about Tammy being dark, about being Viola, and then about, her seeing things beyond the veil, and her predicting she would die in an auto accident. That was a little more circumstantial than what happened in regards to her children. And the fact that Alex was her, her great guardian, and that his GPS tracking put him at the Daybell property at both the time of the shooting mishap and then the day that she died, leads me to believe that yes, she helped plan it. She's not going up for the actual murder, only for the planning of it. And the fact that she ordered those wedding rings, or that wedding ring, like 9 days before Tammy died, that is the clincher for me right there. She knew it was going to happen, and she helped plan it, and she didn't stop it.
6. In regards to count 7 of the amended indictment, is Lori Vallow not guilty or guilty of grand theft? Answer, guilty. Dated this 12th day of May, 2023, signed by the presiding officer.
Look at her here. I think she, and of course that's obvious, that's theft of Social Security. We know that because of the money in the accounts. But look at her. I don't think it's hit her yet. I think she's still ingesting it. I don't think it's hit I don't think it's hit John Thomas or, either of her attorneys yet. They're both just kind of sitting there, and she's still not reacted. She's taking this in. I believe in her deluded mind, she never thought that she would be found guilty. Just laissez-faire. And I believe she's still angry with her attorneys for trying to throw Chad under the bus in their closing arguments. You can't tell me that she's not still slavishly devoted to him. I mean, she killed her children for him, or helped to kill her children for them, and I think she's just in shock.
Madam Clerk, thank you for reading the verdict into the record. At this time, let me just inquire of the jury, is this in fact your true and correct verdict?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Let me ask now from counsel, does the state wish to have the jury polled?
We do not, Your Honor.
Does the defense wish to have the jury polled?
It is a rarity that the prosecution will ever have a jury polled when there's a guilty verdict. And the same with the defense if there's a not guilty verdict. they're a lot more likely to, and I've been in, like I said, I have been on juries, and they will only poll if it goes against them, which is why you will see the defense, Archibald and Thomas, request the jury to be polled to make sure there wasn't a hang up that perhaps the jury pressured. Again, that movie 12 Angry Men, you see and initially there's the other 11 putting pressure on the one holdout to go ahead and conform, and he didn't. So they're trying to make sure there was no shenanigans like that.
Madam Clerk, if you would please indicate only by juror numbers of each of the jurors if this is their true and correct verdict individually.
Juror number 4, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, it is.
Juror number 5, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 6, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 8, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 9, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 10, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 11, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 12, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 13, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 14, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 15, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 16, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
And there you go. And the reason that some of those numbers went higher than 12 is originally this was a jury of 18. They all had to listen to the evidence. And then in the end, there was a lottery and only 12 of them deliberated. The others were sent home and on standby in case somebody had to drop out of the deliberation for some reason. So that's the reason that there were numbers higher than 12.
So I will direct the clerk to record the verdict into the record of this case.
Still no reaction from Lori. She's just
I'll now have a closing jury instruction for our jurors and also. You have now completed your duties as jurors in this case and are discharged with the sincere thanks of this court.
And so we do know that sentencing was set for 2 months. So we're looking at July, maybe 1st of August for sentencing. I'm quite sure they will appeal. You still don't see a whole lot of reaction from Lori, except when she stands up, she does cross her arms. So she's just in a state of shock. I don't think she ever thought she would be convicted of this. And we got her. We got her. And I hope it's going to be a long time before it's over. We've still got 𝗙𝗵𝗿𝗁's trial, which has not been set. Originally, they were thinking summer of 2024, but from what I understand, that is not in stone. So it could be later in 2024 or even 2025. And he may cop a plea now that he sees Lori going down. He may actually, because he is facing the death penalty, whereas she is not. She's probably going to get life. Probably, I'm going to say they're probably going to give her 4 consecutive life sentences, which means 4 life sentences served at the same time, so 1 lifetime, which is all that she has to give. And there's going to be no chance for parole. So she's going to sit in an Idaho State prison, barring an appeal. I don't see an appellate court throwing this out, even that though they're going to allege, the inadmissible. They're going to continue to argue that the stuff from Arizona was admissible. It was all circumstantial, but I think the digital evidence eventually is going to come up, is going to be transformed in our legal system as real evidence, because so much of us live online now. It's not going to be circumstantial in the future. I think this is one of those cases that's going to set a precedent for that. So she's going to spend the rest of her natural life in jail. And because Chad is facing the death penalty, I can see him trying to save his own ass and cop a plea to get life in prison. So we'll see. I'll continue to cover that. And then she's still going to be facing the conspiracy for the murder of Charles Vallow in Arizona. And then there's some assault charges or attempted murder charges still pending for Brandon Boudreaux as well. So she's got some more trials to face. And there could potentially be a death penalty on the table in Arizona. We'll see. Would tickle me to death if that happened. I mean, honestly, as a rule, I'm divided on the death penalty. I think in some cases it's warranted. And I don't think Lori Vallow provides any value to society. She can't be rehabilitated because she's crazy and she's evil. She killed her own children. She serves no purpose. And I think giving her a lethal injection would save us all a lot of time and trouble. But I don't get to make that decision. But anyway, that's my reaction. Those are my thoughts. Join me Friday for a live discussion of everything pending to this case. We'll have a good time and put this portion of it to rest, and then we'll move on to dealing with 𝗟𝗏𝗍𝗍 and Lori's charges in Arizona. And I'll be back to my normal programming next week with some fun videos, and I'll see you soon. Until next time, 𝗙𝗂𝗀𝗏.